Hey guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in today. I am Lauren House, your hostess of the show Beyond the House. We are on the Social Nostra network, which really does have something for everyone. And today I would like to discuss HOAs, homeowner associations. I have a few clients under contract right now, and they've been asking me some great HOA questions. So I thought it would be helpful to make a video about HOAs. So this is going to be a very blanketed video because each individual HOA has its own set of rules and different items that it maintains, different items that the HOA rent, monthly HOA payment includes. So this is just going to be a very blanket statement. If you have more questions, feel free to reach out. You can even comment below and I'm happy to respond. So the biggest question is, do you want to live in an HOA or not? And first and foremost, no matter who you ask, they're going to have a very strong opinion either way. There is no right or wrong. They're probably not for everybody. And I would say the blanket statement to that is, if you're not a rule follower, you probably don't want to be in an HOA. And not necessarily rule following, but if you just want to have a little bit more privacy, if you want to, make the exterior of your house leopard, like you're not allowed to do that. You don't want to be told when you have to take your garbage cans in, or if you can park an extra car on the street overnight. These are all examples of things that HOAs are paid to do and keep those rules and regulations in place, which might feel strict, but it's really just for the benefit of the community. So reasons you would want to live in an HOA is it can be relatively low maintenance. Again, this is a broad spectrum. You can be in a condo or townhouse versus a single family home. And if you're in a condo or townhouse, you typically have amenities that go along with that. So you've got anything from concierge service to valet parking. Maybe it's garage parking. Maybe it's gated garage parking. Maybe you have a guard gate at the community. A fitness center, pools, maybe indoor, outdoor, office space. I mean, there's so many amenities that an HOA can offer, and you are paying for those things. And it does stay well maintained as well. So when it comes to a single family home in an HOA, it can also have all of those things, plus tennis courts, plus a golfing, not a golfing range, but a golf course, like a mini golf course. We have one here at Scottsdale and Hayden and Camelback. And it has a 9-hole golf course. I think it's called an executive course. So the HOA fees are high for a reason, and it's because it has like its own little world on site for you. And then other HOAs are just, they're not gated, and you're just are paying to have the exterior, kept up and made sure that nobody's painting their house leopard or whatever it is. So I do think an HOA creates a greater community sense. And I also think that it stabilizes housing prices. Like it just prevents the house or even one house in the neighborhood to bring the value down. So there are good things to an HOA as well. And that's what I want to discuss here, is that it depends on what kind of buyer you are. If you are an investor, there's obviously two different types of investors. You have long-term investors, and then you have the investors who are looking for short vacation rental privileges. An HOA, if you're looking for a vacation rental privilege, is not going to be the route you want to go. Yes, there are absolutely communities that allow that allow Airbnbs for the nightly, weekly, monthly renting. But as Airbnb and VRBO has gotten more popular, I would say that HOAs are fighting very hard to make that minimum night stay 30 days, 3 months, 6 months maybe in some cases, just to prevent the Airbnb crew from coming in. So if you are a homeowner, you might be a primary homeowner, a secondary homeowner, you do maybe down the road want the option to rent out your house, then you need to consider that as well. Is it a 1 month minimum, a 3 month minimum, 12-month minimum? Everything's different. So The few questions that I would call the HOAs that you are specifically interested in for that community is you need to ask what the fees cover, because I always say the MLS is only as good as the person inputting the information. So maybe the agent didn't do their due diligence, call the HOA, check all the appropriate boxes, and the HOA, maintenance is incorrect in the MLS. So I always say, do your due diligence, call and find out what that is. Number two, you want to find out if there's going to be any assessments. When was the last assessment? How much was it? What is it for? And what's coming up in the future? And what is that price going to be? How much money are in the reserves? That's always a good question. You want to know even the monthly fee. When was that last increased? When's the next increase? How much was it increased? Why was it increased? You just want to do your research. You want to find out where this is going. It is an extra bill, so let's just say it's $200. It's an extra $200 every month, and it's an extra $200 that can go up any amount of money every year to come. So since I live in a HOA community, my condo community has actually increased the price $20 every year since I've lived here. So it's gone up $60 in the last 3 years, which it started low, thankfully, but as it gets going up and up and up, it's like, do I really feel like spending $300 an extra a month on what? So you kind of have that mindset of it's an extra bill, it can always increase, and then on top of it you have assessments. So an assessment is typically voted on by all of the homeowners, and it's to update the community. So maybe it's painting, maybe it's redoing landscaping, maybe it's redoing the pool. Like my community, for example, we all just got new balconies put on. And when you have X amount of people, I think it's 70% have to agree to it, then the next step is, how do we pay for it? So the HOA goes around, they get all their bids. They say, they divvy it up, it's whatever, $5,000 per homeowner, per unit. And then from there, you have your option to either pay in one lump sum, all $5,000 at once, or you can pay for it over whatever your option is. Maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's $1,000 a month or just less, something like that. So it does have to be agreed upon. It's a little bit of a lengthy process because you're going to have the people who don't want to spend the money. And the only reason that the money is being spent is because it will be improving the condition of the community. So I will say, as an experienced assessment now, I was totally against it. And then I used my real estate brain and thought, well, this is going to improve the looks. It's going to improve the value. It's going to improve my safety. Like, I just felt my patio it was just time to get a new patio, So at the time, as much as I didn't want to part with my money for the assessment, I'm so happy now that the project is done. And I think the community looks great. I got to tell you, values of these condos in here have shot up. So that's a huge plus. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. What I do want to touch on is that an assessment is a one-time fee, and it does not impact, influence, increase, decrease the monthly HOA payment. So the monthly HOA payment will increase depending on if the services that they use for landscaping, pool, whatever else they use them for, fitness stuff, if all of those are gradually increasing every year, then yes, they need a little bit more. The other thing that an HOA might include, if you're lucky, would be water, sewer, trash, in some cases, air conditioning and heat. Like I said, the more you have, the more the HOA pays for, the more amenities that are available to you, the higher your monthly HOA. So I think it's pretty great that water, sewer, trash can be included, and you might be paying $250 a month or $350 a month to have the air conditioning included in that. However, you can use it as much or as little as you want. Like, there's no cap on it. So, I'm sure some people take advantage of it, but I don't think that the average person takes advantage of their own use of water and HVAC stuff. So it's there's no right or wrong when it comes to an HOA. You can absolutely choose which is best for you. I do think you need to look and see where you're at, what kind of buyer you are. So if you're an investor, that's going to be a different ballgame than if you're a primary homeowner. Just like you need to call the HOA, find out what some rules are, like what's important to you. If you have a third or fourth car, do you need that extra, and you have a 2-car garage, do you need to have permission to park your car overnight? Can it be parked on the street? Can it be parked in the driveway? Are you going to get a ticket? Are you going to get a fine? I always suggest when somebody's interested in buying a home or a condo, you need to go to the community, go to the area, talk to neighbors, have a conversation with them. Do you like living here? What's going on? How long have you lived here? It doesn't have to be an HOA conversation, but neighbors love to talk. They will always give you everything you want and more. So if you just take an hour on any day when people are out checking their mail, taking their dogs for a walk, whatever it is, you will most likely get some answers to your questions. And speaking of pets, HOAs can limit pets. It can be the number of pets as well as the weight of a pet. Don't think legally that you're allowed to say no to a certain breed, but it could definitely be a size. So, you know, we have our certain animal types, Rottweilers, Pit Bulls, that are not as welcomed, I guess we could say. And those are probably more at a weight limit, so that, I don't know what they weigh. I have no idea what they weigh. As you can see, I have cats because they've been walking around. But that's how you will determine, you know, can you have 4 dogs and move into this community? Some communities don't even allow pets, to be honest with you. So yeah, so there's lots of variables that go into purchasing into an HOA community. Some are selfish reasons, some are just a lifestyle, some are maybe you just don't want the extra bill, and that's okay. There's plenty of communities in the Valley, and I'm sure throughout the United States, that don't have an HOA. And if you feel like you're being suffocated or restricted with all the rules and regulations, then maybe an HOA community is not for you. Maybe if you're someone where it's a second home and you would just like a low maintenance, lock and leave home for when you're in town and out of town, you know your neighbors, they're going to watch over it. Maybe that's more your style. So again, there's no right or wrong for an HOA. I do think that you need to call and ask your very important questions about assessments, fees, what the monthly fee includes. Is there going to be an increase anytime soon? And just start doing your research and finding out where the importance is and how heavy the fact that you're going to be purchasing an HOA is to you. You know, is it just not a big deal and it's easy, or is it something that you feel like you're just not going to be able to move forward with? So let me know if you have any other questions about HOAs. I know if you're from out of the country, this is a very foreign topic for you, so I'm happy to answer any questions. Again, my name is Lauren House. I am the hostess of Beyond the House, and we are on the Social Nostra Network. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. You can always find me on Instagram at Lauren_Lauren.house_. So thank you very much, and I will see you soon.